So let's talk about the year 2026. There's this really fascinating cosmic event coming up that's going to trigger a kind of silent competition. It's a race that pits the sun, the moon, and three ancient ways of tracking time against one another. Welcome to the Great Cosmic Race.
Okay, so here's the central mystery we're diving into. In 2026, we're getting this rare, beautiful alignment in the sky. The new moon and the spring equinox are happening at almost the exact same time. Now, you'd think that would be a crystal clear starting pistol for everyone, right? Well, nope. Three major ancient calendars, all with incredibly deep historical roots, are going to look at the very same sky and declare the new year on three completely different days. How is that even possible? That's exactly what we're here to figure out.
All right, so before we can meet our three contenders, we got to understand the racetrack they're all running on. These are the fixed, unchangeable facts of the sky that no calendar, no matter how clever, can ever alter. First thing to know, around March 18th and 19th, we have what's called the astronomical new moon. This is the moment of conjunction. You know, when the moon is perfectly between the Earth and the sun, making it totally invisible to us? Then, just a day or so later, on March 20th, we get the spring equinox. That perfect moment of balance when the sun crosses the celestial equator and day and night are pretty much equal. These two events are the baseline for everything that's about to happen.
Okay, let's meet our first contender, the Rabbinic Jewish calendar. This system's entire strategy is built on precision and predictability. It doesn't wait around to see what's happening in the sky. It's got it all worked out centuries ahead of time.
And this brings us to a really fundamental split in how you can track a year using the moon. On one side, you have the rabbinic calendar, which is all calculated. It's based on this brilliant mathematical formula that was set way, way back in the 4th century. On the other side, you have calendars that are observed, which, as we're about to see, depend on somebody actually going outside and looking up.
And here's why that's so important. The rabbinic method was designed for pure consistency. By pre-calculating the start of every single month, it guarantees that communities all over the world can celebrate holidays on the exact same day. You don't have to worry about cloudy skies or people disagreeing over whether they saw the moon. It's a system built on math, not luck.
So what's the result? Well, the rabbinic calendar starts its new year at sundown on Wednesday, March 18th. And what's wild is that because its calculations are based on long-term averages, in 2026, its starting line is actually about 36 hours before the astronomical spring equinox even happens. It jumps the gun. Now for our second contender, which takes a totally different approach. This system is all about direct physical proof. It doesn't trust formulas. It trusts what it can literally see in the sky and feel on the ground. So this system has two rules you just can't break. First, you have to physically see that first tiny sliver of the crescent moon with your own eyes, and the sighting has to be from the land of Israel. No sighting, no new month. That's it. But it's not just about the sky. You also need a sign from the earth. The barley harvest has to be ripe, a state called Aviv. It's this beautiful connection between the heavens and the harvest.
Okay, so since the invisible new moon is on March 18th, that first sliver is probably going to be spotted from Jerusalem on either Thursday the 19th or Friday the 20th. Now, assuming the barley is ready to go, that means the observed new year will start almost perfectly in sync with the spring equinox. It's a real photo finish between the moon, the sun, and the harvest.
And now for our final contender. This one is a true maverick. It runs a completely different race. The calendar of Enoch. Well, it isn't interested in the moon at all. It marches to the beat of one drum, and one drum only, the sun.
This quote from an ancient text really sums up the whole philosophy. The Enoch calendar flat out rejects the moon, basically saying that its shorter cycle throws the timing of the whole year off. A lunar year is around 354 days. A solar year is 365. And that 11-day gap, that's what the quote's talking about. The moon just gets there too soon. Its solution is a very rigid 364-day structure. Now, why 364? Because it is perfectly divisible by 7. We're talking exactly 52 weeks. This means Passover is always on a Tuesday every single year. It's a calendar built for absolute mathematical perfection. And the rule for starting the year is beautifully simple. You find the spring equinox, and the new year begins on the very next Wednesday. This whole thing is tied to the Genesis creation story, where the sun, moon, and stars were created on the 4th day, a Wednesday. So, in 2026, the equinox lands on a Friday, March 20th. All you have to do is count forward to the next Wednesday, which puts you on March 25th. So this contender actually waits for the equinox to pass and then starts its clock, a full week after our first contender even started.
Okay, all three of our contenders have crossed their finish lines. It's time to bring them all together for the final results and see exactly how this cosmic race played out.
And there you have it. The rabbinic calendar, based on pure calculation, starts first on March 18th. The Karaite calendar, based on observation, starts right around the equinox on the 19th to 20th. And the Enoch calendar, our solar maverick, starts last on March 25th. 3 different methods, 3 different start dates, all from looking at the exact same sky.
But listen, this isn't just some academic puzzle. This has a massive real-world impact because your starting point determines the date for every single festival and holy day for the rest of the year.
Let's just use the Enoch calendar as a quick example. Because its 364-day structure is so perfect, calculating feast days is simple clockwork. You start on the new year, you count forward, and the feasts land on the exact same day of the week every single year, no exceptions.
Take Passover, for instance. The rule is simple. It happens on the 14th day of the first month.
So if we start from the Enoch New Year on March 25th and you count forward 14 days, that brings us to Tuesday, April 7th, 2026.
The Feast of Unleavened Bread follows right after that, running for 7 days, from the 15th day through the 21st. In 2026, that puts the festival between Wednesday, April 8th and Tuesday, April 14th. You could really see how that single different starting line creates a completely separate timeline for the entire year.
All of this idea of calculation versus observation, solar versus lunar, it really leaves us with a final thought. You know, we live by a calendar too, one that seems totally objective. But what these ancient systems show us is that how we choose to measure our years isn't just about science, it's also about philosophy. So the question to leave you with is this: how does the calendar you follow shape your own perception of time?